Hey there everyone, welcome to another exciting video. I wanted to do a video on some of the new Xbox 360 backwards compatible titles that I've picked up recently. Obviously, backwards compatibility has been a huge part of my gaming life since Microsoft brought it back with the Xbox One. So these games are backwards compatible on Xbox One, Xbox One X, Xbox Series S, and Xbox Series X. Just to be clear, I realize that there's no more digital store on the Xbox 360, but there are ways to buy Xbox 360 games that are backwards compatible on the Xbox One / Xbox Series X and S store. This is a way to give games more life, and being able to hang on to the games that you've purchased in the past is also a great thing. Some of these games are definitely hidden gems though, and games that you might not have heard of before, so hopefully you see this video and think, oh man, those look pretty cool. I might give them a try. And if you enjoy my content, please make sure to tell your friends and subscribe, and at the very least, like the video. So backwards compatibility is a great thing. Let's get started. Let's go. I wanted to start off with something truly unique, and so I picked Splosion Man. Now, this game came out way back in 2009 and was made by a developer that Microsoft once owned, who were called Twisted Pixel, and it was on the Xbox 360, obviously. And this was back when they did the Summer of Arcade, and this was one of the games that went there as a really, really good game. That was the difference between then and now. Now, any indie will just be sold on whatever store. Back then, you had to be a really, really good game to kind of get sold on a store for the Summer of Arcade. So it's actually a puzzle platformer. You're Splosion Man. Of course, you have the actual power, which is really cool, to kind of detonate yourself due to an accident at a laboratory called Big Science. You can actually use this power. It's a kind of a standard platformer in a way with how you move around and things like that. But you go through a series of levels containing different puzzles, traps, and enemies. The act of, you kind of do this self-detonation, which I think is really cool and unique. It allows you to kind of jump and do the jumps. And it took me a little bit to get used to. Now, I remember playing this game back when it came out, but I found a physical version of this game with a couple other games packed on. And so I was like, hey, you know what? Show this game off. Maybe people don't remember it. Maybe they never knew it existed. But hey, this is a fun game to play, backwards compatible and everything. Splosion Man. There's also Miss Splosion Man, if you like this game as well. Totally different game, but worthwhile checking out in my opinion. Next up is a game that I'm playing for the first time, and I know that you guys might not believe that, but this is the first time I've ever played this game, Dirt Showdown. Now, this is sort of an arcade-style racing game developed by Codemasters for the Xbox 360. It has a lot of chaotic motorsport events. Unlike its rally-focused predecessors in the Dirt series, which a lot of you have probably played, Showdown emphasizes on demolition derby-style gameplays, stunts, as well as like a spectacle sort of like that. Players compete in various modes across vibrant, destructible arenas. Now, what you're looking at here, I was blown away by this because I've never played this game before. So I'm like, okay, I picked this game up. Let me play it. And the demolition event was just awesome. It takes a few minutes to get used to, but once you get used to it, it is absolutely insane, and it is so much fun. You guys can probably tell by the smile. I know it's probably hard to see that I'm smiling, but it is absolutely a great game to pick up and play. It's got a lot of cool licensed vehicles. It's got really cool music tracks as well. A lot of awesome presentations, accessible controls, focus on the vehicular carnage. It delivers a really crowd-pleasing experience, even though it does kind of divulge from what it normally does. And I think that's what's so unique and awesome about it. You usually don't see stuff like this, that big of a change from before. But yeah, well worth it. Pick it up, play it. It's a lot of fun. If you like demolition derbies and stuff like that, awesome game. Next up is a game that I'm going to guess many of you have never even heard of, and some of that could have to do with the fact of when the game was released, which was 2013. As you guys know, Xbox 360 and PS3 were on the way out, and Xbox One and PS4 were on the way in. But Deadfall Adventures, first-person action adventure game, really interesting game. More of a what I would call a budget title for sure. Basically a game that is kind of fun to play, but it's got some jank to it and things like that. Not terrible, but what's interesting is it follows a character named James Quartermain, who's the great grandson of the adventurer Alan Quartermain, which there were some movies and things about him back in the day, I think in the 80s. And he teams up with an agent in the U.S. Who is basically with you all the time. And this is the first time I played the game. But what's interesting is, you know, it's kind of funny because it mirrors Indiana Jones, and it sort of reminded me of the newer Indiana Jones game, although not nearly as polished or good. But basically, you use tools, a compass, a notebook, flashlights. You navigate traps, battle human enemies, supernatural enemies, even mummies, uncover treasures and things like that. A little bit simplistic with some of what it's offering. The story isn't great, sort of a B-movie situation, but it does have some fast-paced shooter mechanics and things like that. The puzzle solving doesn't take much work to really get it done, but you know, the whole thing where you're going against like different people and things like that is kind of fun, and something that I'm saying, hey, why not? You know, this game's new to me. It's backwards compatible. Give it a try if you like the Indiana Jones style games. So I'm super late to the party with this game, but Costume Quest, yeah, who would have thought that game, right? Like, I don't know. To me, it just comes across as a game that I've never played before. So I thought, why not? You know, and I think this game is usually on sale for a pretty low price. But the game was made by Double Fine, who did like Psychonauts and Psychonauts 2, and you know, they've done some really good games. So I thought, why not? The game is basically set in Halloween in a suburban neighborhood, and you kind of go trick or treating. You're a couple kids, I believe, a boy and a girl. Your brother gets kidnapped and you have to help him out and things like that. Now, the interesting part is the gameplay, which is a blast, and I didn't think I'd have fun with it, but it's like turn-based gameplay, like combat, with some different exploration aspects to it. You know, you can gather unique costumes like a robot, a knight, a unicorn, which, you know, each has a special edition. Like the main one at the beginning is like a robot, sort of like a transformer or whatever, and it has like a special ability for both combat as well as like the puzzle solving in the battles and things like that. They can transform the kids into powerful versions of their outfits, almost like they become real. You know, the game is a little bit short, but there is, you know, a lot of fun to it, and I think if you've never played it, it's definitely something that you should give it a try. Like, look at it. I was having a blast with it. So, yeah, Costume Quest, a lot of fun. Give it a try. So this video consists of a lot of firsts for me. Most of these games are the first time that I've actually played these games, and again, I wanted to do some games that I thought kind of held up well and look great, and as well as play great. And this game, JUJU, is one of those games. I had not even heard of this game before. I think I might have gotten this game for free, in fact. And so when I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, well, it's like a 2D platformer that's very charming, and, you know, seems like it's a lot of fun, and the game actually looks great still. Like, and that's the main thing that kind of interests me, is like when the games hold up. And I feel like when you look at games that are like 2D platformers and things, I think they hold up extremely well at times like this, you know, and the backwards compatibility program really takes advantage of these types of games. So, you know, like I know how some games, like for me, going back and playing PS1 or Nintendo 64 games, especially the early 3D blockiness and stuff, can take me out of it. But this game, JUJU, is, you know, a game that's actually quite a bit of fun. Came out actually in 2014 on the Xbox 360. So yeah, it actually has a few different worlds to kind of go into and play. You run, jump, bounce, and use abilities like drumming to open paths or defeat enemies, including massive boss battles. There's some simple mechanics that are very much inspired by games like Mario and Rayman. It sort of gave me a Rayman feel. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Rayman, but anyway, JUJU actually supports 2-player couch co-op as well, allowing a second player to control another player as well. It has some very bright, awesome visuals and some really cool sounds and music and things like that. So yeah, JUJU, give it a try. I know it sounds crazy, but look, it's fun. Next up, a fun game that came out again in late in the 360 life cycle. That's where I think a lot of these games kind of lost the plot a little bit, is because so many people were moving on. But Call of Juarez Gunslinger came out in 2013. First-person shooter, believe it or not, developed by Techland. and actually published by Ubisoft. It's kind of set in the Wild West. It's got a lot of interesting aspects to it. It's got kind of this cool screen to it, some stylized graphics, which are really awesome. And the really cool part is, yeah, it's got some great characters in it, like Billy the Kid, Jesse James, the Dalton brothers, and it's got a really cool aspect with those big names in it. But it's like, they're over exaggerated, so the whole thing is really kind of over exaggerated. But anyway, the gameplay actually kind of emphasizes like the fast-paced gunfights that you would expect like a first-person shooter in the Wild West. More arcadey for sure. It's got a skill-based system for like duels and some bullet dodging, and you can kind of chain together kills to build combos. You can customize your abilities through the skill trees, which I think is a really cool thing as well. You can focus on pistols, rifles, or shotguns. The cel-shaded art style and arcade mechanics are, it's got like a slow motion or concentration mode. Really cool over-the-top Western game experience. So if you're looking for a Red Dead Redemption type game, this isn't it. But if you're looking for sort of a fast-paced arcade shooter, this is definitely one of the better ones to kind of go in and play. It's a lot of fun, and like I said, backwards compatible, and a good time to actually just jump into it and play it. Next up is a game that I have actually played before, but I wanted to kind of include it in this list because I hadn't included it in any of my other backwards compatibility lists, and that is Crackdown 2. Now, what's interesting about this game is it's completely free. You can just download it for free. You can get it in the store, and the first one as well, which is also backwards compatible. Open world action game developed in and released in 2010. It's actually set 10 years after the original game, and it's got kind of a futuristic feel to it as well. It's still the agent type thing doing their thing. There's a lot of freedom in the sandbox and things like that. You're trying to find the orbs to gain enhanced agility, strength, firepower, leap across skyscrapers, all the cool stuff. Drive vehicles, engage in some explosive combat. You level up your skills pretty much like the first game as well. The game supports some co-op. It's got some multiplayer modes as well. I'm not sure if those are still online or not, but yeah, it doesn't have the narrative depth compared to the first one. There's like, some monsters or they're kind of like these weird mutants that you got to end up fighting in this one, which makes it, I think, sort of made it remind me a little bit of some other games. But for me, it's still a fun Crackdown game, still a fun experience, completely free, like I said, plays good, looks good, and is backwards compatible, which is exactly what this list is all about. So I did JUJU earlier in the list, and here Rayman Origins, which came out in 2011. 2D platformer developed by Ubisoft and published by Ubisoft. Really vibrant game, good looking game, and it still holds up incredibly well through the backwards compatibility program. I think digitally I might have picked this game up for like $5. Now usually I try to get the physical versions of games for things that I do, and I have this game physically as well, but the fact that you could pick this game up for such a low price meant that I definitely wanted to include it in this list, because like I said earlier, I wanted to include games that look great and still play great even in today's standards. So the gameplay emphasizes precise platforming with players running, jumping, and gliding and battling through over 60 levels that are oftentimes filled with secrets, collectibles, and different things like that. Each world, there's a lot of lush worlds, like a jungle world, different things like that. A really cool and interesting soundtrack. You unlock abilities as you go along, like wall running, and even the slap is something that is unlocked at a pretty early turn. But yeah, this is a very family-friendly return to the series' roots, sort of a reboot, reimagining of the entire franchise, and just a lot of fun to play. And like I said, if you're into games that still hold up well and still look great and play great, even in 2025, this is a game for you. And so there you have it, a nice little list of some new backwards compatible games I got on Xbox 360, and these will work if you buy them physically on an Xbox Series X or an Xbox One. If you are a digital person, then you can pick them up digitally still in the store and play them. And I think some of them might even be on sale right now. I don't know. They're usually on sale sometimes. Sometimes they're not. But a lot of fun. Like I said, backwards compatibility brings a little something added to the Xbox ecosystem, and you know, it's something worthwhile. So anyway, let me know which games you like to play via backwards compatibility. Who knows if Microsoft will ever bring back that program? I sort of doubt it, but there are still hundreds of backwards compatibility titles that you can take advantage of right now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.